And we met at the Positive Like-Minded People networking event. And I'm so excited to have her on because she has a very unique business and I want you all to hear more about it.
So I do IV hydration and wellness. I'm mobile, so I cater to my Knoxville people and the surrounding areas, and I love it because I've been an ER nurse for almost 4 years, and I have seen a lot of people come in and wait hours and hours and hours just for a bag of fluids. Because they're dehydrated, or maybe they've had this, the stomach bug, and now they're, not able to keep things down, so they're feeling extra bad.
So that's where you came up with this idea, because you were an ER nurse and you're like, I need to do this for other people.
Yes.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay.
When I was like, oh, man, I love being an ER nurse. I do, because you learn something new every day. But I started looking into this industry, and I worked for somebody else for a little bit, and I loved it. I loved what I was doing. I was loving the benefits people were receiving from it, the feedback, and how people were like, I wake up in the mornings and I don't feel like I need to run to my coffee pot.
Oh, good.
Yes.
So, but it's more than just hydration, right? It's more than just, because we think of hydration, we always just think of water, drinking water and drinking water, right? But hydration goes beyond that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Because salt is okay.
Boy, that's always a big topic of conversation. I just watched on the Today Show last week. They were saying, don't drink more than 8 glasses of water. You're going to flush the salt out of your system. I'm like, I don't think it happens quite like that, but thanks Today Show for some extra health advice, right? Don't you love that?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, salt is okay in your diet. Yes. And why? Because it's part of your hydration?
Yes, because salt chases water. So it makes your cells full, and that way you can keep carrying on about your day and not, it beats those headaches. Like for a long time before becoming a nurse, and I'll catch myself now, like I'll be like, my gosh, my head is killing me. And then I think about it, and I'm like, I didn't drink any water. What is wrong with me? And so I drink some water and I give it some time, and sure enough, I can just avoid taking some ibuprofen or Tylenol, because guess what? I was having a headache because I was dehydrated.
I'm so glad that you said that, because I always say, like, if you're having a symptom of something, it's living somewhere in something that you either did, you ate, or something, right? Your symptoms are everything. So what are some other, like, fees you can get?
So I do all types. So I do anything that helps between just general hydration. We're talking about just that salt water.
Okay.
And to energy, brain fog, metabolism.
Okay.
I do have one that's a weight loss. It's not like a semaglutide. That's a whole nother topic. I'm not a big fan of it. So B12, B complex, I have a mineral blend. Vitamin C is a big one.
So when you were saying basic hydration, so that's like if you were sick, right? You had the flu, something like that. That's just basic hydration. Like that covers that. But you're not. The idea is to not just go to you because I'm not drinking enough water every week, so I'm just going to come and see you weekly just to get my fill.
Absolutely. No, I tell all my clients, I'm like, please, by all means, don't stop drinking water. Like, please.
Yeah, so this is meant to just
water.
supplement if you've been sick, or like something traveling probably does it. I know it dehydrates me.
Oh my gosh. I always end up sick, and I'm always dehydrated after traveling.
Yeah, so times like that is perfect.
Absolutely. I tell people it's a really good preventative. Like, a lot of people, when I'm like, I do IV hydration, they're like, oh, you're the hangover girl.
Right?
Well, yes, but no. Like,
yes, but no.
So much more than that. The analogy I give people is, we don't wait for our car to run out of gas before we put gas in it, right?
Okay.
Like, we keep up with our gas, and we take care of our car.
Like maintaining it?
Yes. So, like, parents, for instance, your kids are out of school all summer, and then they go back to school, and in like maybe a week to 2 weeks time back into school, everybody in the household is sick. It's just that's that territory that parents live in. It's just how that cookie crumbles. So I tell parents, I'm like, well, if you know that's what's happening, let's get ahead of that. Let's get you that extra boost of immunity, and then your kids can go back to school. Yes, they're gonna get sick, unfortunately.
So that's gonna help anybody. That can help anybody that needs a little boost in immunity. If you're traveling, if you feel like you may be coming down with something and you're trying to avoid that, right?
Yeah.
So what are symptoms that you look for in the vitamin supplement parts. Like what do people, I mean, besides just energy, I feel like energy is always this basic topic, and most of us say, well, I feel tired all the time, like what's energy even mean?
Right. Oh yeah. People are just so used to being tired.
Yeah, just being so run down.
And
It's
it's
like,
not normal. Y'all, it's not normal. Being tired is not normal, okay? So, yes, energy is a big one. But the other part of, like, the bigger picture of what I do is to help with immunity. Like, it's just, let's keep
A
our
little extra
bodies
support, you
healthy.
mean.
And yeah, like, just that extra boost. Make sure that we can carry on about our days. And just, you know, like, I don't know about you, but I can't afford to get sick.
no, I don't like to be sick, first
Well,
of all.
yeah,
I do not
mean,
like to be sick.
I don't think anybody does, but
No,
if you do,
so-
we've got problems. But no.
Yes. So tell me about B12. B12 is like one of those things everybody talks about, right?
Yes.
Because there's like B12 is energy, and they think that they can just go get a can out of, is it the Celsius or whatever? It's got the B12 energy
I think
boost or
so.
something. It's like,
Something like
it's got B12 in it. Like, I'm doing good.
Sure. No.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Not really. So and it goes back to absorption, how
Okay.
our bodies absorb, and that was another thing that I was like, this between the IV or even injections is amazing when it changes how much B12 you're actually absorbing. So when you take something orally, on average, it's 20 to 30% absorption rate.
You're talking about a pill.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it has to go through your digestive.
metabolize, right? The
Yep.
way that your body metabolizes by the time,
Sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
your
And
throat
some-
gets done, your stomach gets done, your intestines gets done. It's like what's really left of it.
Exactly.
But that's a really important thing about supplements in general, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
what as far as supplements, most of them are not very absorbable.
Yeah. And some people are not able to absorb the way
Yeah,
like,
B,
the average
D
person.
is a big one, right?
Mhm.
Vitamin D is a big one that doesn't get absorbed, right?
Yes, because like you have to take in effect or take into account your other supplements. So vitamin D, like you need magnesium as well to support it, and calcium. If you don't have a good balance of your basic vitamins and minerals, they all factor into each other, and so they support each other.
See, this is always like you're saying, like the vitamin D, which now vitamin D, because it affects your serotonin, right? Levels from the sun.
Yep.
It actually is a hormone. It can affect your hormone balances.
Absolutely.
And this is one of those things I'm always talking about. Like you think that it's just your hormones all work together. Like for us in my age, everyone's just like, oh, it's just the estrogen. I'm just gonna. It's not like that. Everything feeds off of another thing.
does.
So you need
Absolutely.
a balance with all of them. So like vitamin D. So if you need to have magnesium and then you need to have calcium to
Yeah.
make all three of them to work together.
Yes.
And
to really have a good support system in order for one to work well, as well as it possibly can. It does. It's like its own support system.
so what would you say? Like, do you tell people to come in with blood work, or do you ask like diet? Like, do you have a good diet? Like, where do you start with someone when they say, I just need a vitamin D, I know this is what I need energy, and then where do you go?
So I always screen all of my clients.
Okay.
So we go over health. You know, what are your history wise, or what's your health concerns? Where's your goals? Things like that. And when it comes specifically to vitamin D, I always ask them, do you take a daily oral vitamin D supplement?
Yes.
If they say yes, I cannot give you a shot of it because it is a very quick way to go into toxicity. And nothing feels worse when you are in toxicity from simple things like vitamins, believe it or not. So,
But does it like my whole thing is like melatonin. The fact that you can just buy that over the counter blows my mind. And people
Yeah, I
give
don't
this
love that.
to their children.
I don't
And
love
it's
it.
like, again, like from a nurse's, right? People are just willy-nilly buying these supplements, and like you're saying, vitamin D can affect your hormone level. Melatonin affects your hormone levels, and they're just able to take it from the shelves, and then they come to you, and then they say, I need more energy. I must need more vitamin D. But it's not the case at all.
No.
So,
No, like if that's the case, you're telling me. So say you're a client and you tell me, oh, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. I don't understand why I'm still so tired. It's okay, well, let's look at the bigger picture of things. Like, what do you do for a living? And what is your daily routine? How do you take care of your body? Do you go to the gym? Do you take a walk outside for an hour? Like, what are you doing within
To support what you want.
Right.
Because it's cool if it's going to be a quick fix and it's going to fill that gap. But if you're not doing anything to sustain it.
Exactly. It's like, so.
I always say it's almost like throwing your money away.
In a way, it is. So a lot of people love this quick fix weight loss stuff.
Yes. Yes.
So-
Which, again, it has its benefits.
Sure.
If it will help you.
If you are doing the work too.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing these weight loss injections or pills or whatever regimen that is, I'm going to shed 150 pounds within 3 months, whatever. Huge red flag if you ever hear that. You have to do the diet.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sleep well. You need to make sure you're eating well too. So if you're doing these, semaglutide and all those things, but you're still eating fried foods and just not taking care of your body, it's not going to work. And guess what? When you stop that semaglutide, it's going to come back with vengeance.
I think that's probably the hardest thing that I deal with is it's a very emotional journey back from that, mentally, physically, and emotionally, to get women to, number one, trust the system of reversing back. I mean, your stomach is practically paralyzed for how long, right? And it's like it's used to the food, and then they're bloating, and they don't want to get heavy again, and it helps them get thin and gain confidence. But the process coming back from this stuff is so messed up in the head.
It is hard.
And it's so much easier to start with the basics and then go to supplements.
You need a little
great
support.
Yes.
Absolutely. Fun fact, I don't know if you know this, you might not.
Okay.
But
put it on camera. Do I know this?
with semaglutide, it actually, like you said, it paralyzes your stomach and will hold whatever food you've eaten in there for 2 weeks.
Oh,
How
no, I did not
gross
heard
is
that
that?
one. Gross. No.
It's so nasty.
No, I just
no wonder why you don't feel well. You have old food sitting in your stomach for 2 weeks.
no. It's gonna take me a minute to process all of that.
Yeah.
And again, it's helping, but I mean, we got to get off the yo-yo. The yo-yo's stretched so far. It takes semaglutide just to keep people on a maintenance diet. That's what Oprah said. That's what she's doing for her maintenance diet. I know, it's no shocker there, right?
No comment.
No comment. Thanks, Oprah, for the emotional roller coaster for the last 30 years. It's time for me to get off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, tell us more about you. How can we get in touch with you? Don't just call you for a hangover, but what are something like what I would call you for? Energy's a big thing, but you're not talking about just chronic fatigue and sleepless nights. You're talking about
like maintenance. Like let's pair with somebody like you who knows what they're talking about when it comes to fitness and eating right, and let's pair what our daily activities are with my services.
Yeah.
That way you feel the maximum benefit of what I'm providing you. It's like the cycle of life of just support of each other. Like
yes, and that is one thing one of my clients they just don't realize is just moving your same calories around in one day can make a difference in your energy. And it's like you just got to get your food to work for you. Yeah. And like you're saying, like in what are you doing in your lifestyle? Are you doing something to promote the health that you want?
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So I want to touch on one more thing because there is actually some vitamins that your body does not make, right?
Yeah.
And so do you offer those? K is one of them.
I don't. With vitamin K it's a little more, you have to be a little more cautious about how much and cardiac and stuff like that. So like you're meaning like potassium?
Yeah.
Yeah. So potassium plays a huge factor in your cardiac system. So like if you were in the hospital and we were giving you potassium, we would make sure you're on the cardiac monitor.
Look at that.
Yeah.
What other vitamins do we have? D, K? I mean not K. C?
Yeah,
that's the big immune one.
It is very good for immunity.
Is that the one that you would recommend if you were traveling to get the C and a B?
Yeah, so when I have somebody come to me, they're like, hey, I'm taking a trip.
Are you like the mad scientist? You do like 2 drops of this and 4 drops of that, and then you
Kind
fill
of.
up your bag?
In a way, yeah.
Or do you do like 5 hoses?
Oh gosh, no. I mix my vitamins and they go straight to the bag.
How big is a bag? Like a gallon?
It's a liter. Yeah. It's
Is it
just
like a
normal.
regular IV? How long does it take to get?
From start to finish, it's about an hour.
All right, tell me more about other things that you could. Oh, magnesium. That's a big one too,
Magnesium.
especially as we get older.
Yes.
Now, I always recommend the magnesium glycinate at night.
Mm-hmm.
And then what other?
So I have magnesium chloride, and that it does help with stress levels and kind of like that relaxed feeling. I do have a stress and migraine drip, and I pair them because of really like it's the same ingredients for each, so it's just the same drip, but it does help with both. But it does promote sleep and just that restful feeling. Like we have very stressful lives.
Yeah.
now.
So
It's
wait,
just-
I'm interested in this, like the headache one. So if I had a headache, if I had like hormone headaches like every month, say,
Mhm.
would I call you before, like I knew, or would I at the onset of it? When's the best way? Like, what
Some
do you
people
recommend?
don't know when they're coming on before they're.
In-
Some people don't get that aura of like, oh, I'm getting a migraine.
What if it was tied to hormones? Because sometimes it's tied to your hormones, right? Like
Yes.
if like when you're cycling or something like that, because then can you prevent it?
So I do have a PMS drip
Okay.
specifically for that. It is really good to do in the beginning of your cycle. So if you are somebody who's really regular and you're getting it on the 15th of every month.
Uh-huh.
So that 14th would be the best day to get it, to kind of get ahead of that. Or if you're somebody that's like, my period's coming on the 15th, but I become a little symptomatic a few days before, whatever. Like, we know our body's best.
I guess thank you
you
for
just
saying
have
that.
to listen to your body.
So it's funny because my friend says, well, what's perimenopause feel like? What's menopause feel like? And I said, do you remember PMS? Like PMS, like that week before you get your period, like you are just not you.
Yeah.
And then you get your period and you feel better. It's like you never come out of that state. That's what perimenopause feels like. You are in
man.
PMS state every
All the
single day of
time.
your
Aw.
effing life. So, with that being said, with the PMS, like those types of symptoms, we also experience that in perimenopause and menopause. So is it support like the estrogen progesterone areas, or is it still like vitamin based, or how would I know if I needed it if it wasn't PMS but I was having hormone freakouts?
Well, it just goes back to listening to your body. So
Okay.
if you're like, yeah, I'm starting to feel a little off. If it becomes regular, even better. That way you can track it. But always 2 to 3 days before wouldn't hurt either.
And then we talked about absorption and that, but how long does an IV drip, like how long is that?
Last
Last.
for like the effects.
Yeah.
Okay. Everyone's a little different
Mm-hmm.
because of the absorption, our lifestyles, how much water we're actually drinking.
Does this flush it out? So we're saying like if you drink a lot of water.
Oh, no, like that's just that way you.
Well, that's what people
you're
are saying
staying
is-
more hydrated. So for
So
instance,
it actually will help. Yes, it helps the benefits of it while you're drinking. Yes, that makes
yes,
sense.
yeah, it helps support it. Again, we go back to the support of our system of what
Okay.
we're putting into.
So all right, so the more you support it, the longer the effects
Right.
you can get. Now, what's the average? Monthly, weekly? Not weekly. I can't imagine.
Some people do weekly, yes, because of their lifestyles.
Okay.
Or they just truly are not very good at taking care of their bodies, or and not in like an insulting way. I don't mean to sound insulting, but like for instance, and I'll take it.
Stress is a big one, and this is the one thing I have with all my clients. So I know what you're talking about. People are not good about taking care of themselves, not just by eating, but just all
Overall.
of it. Yes.
So I have gotten better, and I still have room for improvement. But before I started this business, I was I should have been a once a weeker. I should have been getting regular IVs once a week because working 12 hours in the hospital leaves you very little time to make sure you get your gallon of water in a day
Yeah.
and eat right and all the things that help support your body and your energy.
Were you doing
and
anything
mind.
then? Or when you didn't start doing anything until you learned about it?
Right. Yeah, I didn't actually I really had to look into it because I was like, this is a great concept. Somebody had to have thought about it, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
many people have thought about it,
but you gotta be an RN to do it.
So yes, in the state of Tennessee, you have to be an RN. I believe a LPN can do this, and a paramedic.
Okay,
So-
so and then you're mobile, so you'll go to someone's home or office or
Yes,
something
yeah.
like that.
I've done a lot of home calls. That's my primary call. Done that. I've done workplaces. I've done get-togethers, basically like an Ivy party. And then
There's a-
hotels. I've had a couple out-of-towners that have reached out and they're like, I am dying. Like my travel was awful. I may or may not have had a little bit to drink last night when I got in, So they're like, I'm here on work. I have to be on my A game. I need a drink.
Yeah.
So, but we had mentioned the support in between of whether we're eating and what we're eating and how much water we're drinking and the services. So my biggest hurdle has been people being scared of needles, and I get it. I totally understand the fear. It is 100% a real thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not super.
That's the part you gotta
ecstatic
be
to get it.
I know, that's the
But-
part you don't even think about. The needle.
Yeah, people are like, they'll be like, oh, what do you do? I'll be at these pop-up events and I'll start telling them and they're like, I'm scared of needles. And they turn and walk away and I'm like,
Whoops, sorry.
okay, I understand. I do
You
understand.
don't work.
So, but you'll feel better. So I was looking for something that would help support either in between people's services or for those that are scared of the needle. And I don't know if you saw my recent Instagram, but I found it. And
Okay.
I'm so excited about it.
Okay.
It's called Nutrify.
Okay.
They're a business that they manufacture and make these in the U.S.
Okay.
They're animal cruelty free. They're sugar free. They have no fillers.
Okay.
The B12 is the good B12, so that methylcobalamin or mine. I always butcher that, but it's what we naturally produce.
Okay.
And they're sprays. They're oral sprays. You just spray them right into your mouth, and the absorption is 93% or better.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
Because it
once
goes in through
you're
your
so
mucous
this
membranes.
so again, once you're at the levels that you can maintain, then those sprays are good.
Not
Absorption-
necessarily. You can absolutely. So it's
Do you
for
think that they
somebody.
want to work with us if we're gonna tell them to go get that?
I would hope so.
They're gonna say, forget it, we're just gonna get the NutriSpray.
Well, it's not a fix-all. It's not something you should just be like, nope, that's
Well,
it.
I was
don't
gonna say, I
need
need the
anything
timestamp
else.
on that one, so we can tell her to go in there and take that out.
Yeah.
Tell me about these sprays.
So they're good for support. Again, it goes back to the support of your natural lifestyle and the things that, meeting your health goals. But it's, for me, in my business, I honed in on them because it's good for those that are scared of the needle. And again, I totally understand it. So that's why I was like, I really want to, the purpose of my business is to help people be on the track to get healthy and be healthy and live healthy lives.
Wait, so is this something is it just available? Can I get that too? And recommend it to my clients, or is it just something through you?
No, you can. Well, you can get it through me that you can recommend.
Okay.
So the company that I go through, and I did research on them, and I really, really like them. That's why I'm extra excited about them. They only sell to suppliers. So I go through Olympia Pharmacy. They're the ones that I go through for all my compounded vitamins and stuff. And I buy them through them. So it's not something you can get on Amazon or Walmart or something like that.
Okay, so this is also a part of your services, is offering
Yes.
Okay.
So it's good for those that are scared of needles. It's good for those that are wanting to maximize their benefits in between their services.
Yes.
And it's good for those that just want that extra boost. So they're not necessarily pondering the thought of IV therapy, because some people are just not ready for that yet. Where they're like, I want to think about it, or whatever. But they want the benefits, but they also don't want to get
so this is really cool because I think that for me, the number one question I always get, I swear every time I do a phone call, it's like, I'm on this and I'm on this and I'm on this and I'm on this. I say to all of them, I said, did your doctor recommend any of them? And if they say no, I say you have to come off of all of them. Because you can't figure out what it is that's happening in your body unless you kind of get to ground zero. But this is really cool because then when they do want to get back on something, they can come to you and get the sustainable and absorbable actual supplements that they need.
Yeah.
B's, right? B, D, D?
Not yet.
Okay.
So I have vitamin B12 and then an immunity, and that is vitamin E, vitamin C, and I always butcher it, but it's an extract. It's Anekra. You know what I'm talking about?
I know now that you said it. No, I'm like, because I'm like looking in my, I can see it in my head.
can see it in my head.
Echinacea? That
Yes.
one? Yes, echinacea. Okay,
Echinacea.
so that's like for brain fog and stuff.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
but
memory and stuff like that.
So the E, the C, and echinacea, those are in one, and that's an immunity one. So
Okay.
personally, what I've been doing is in the mornings I do the B12 because that like gives you the energy, and like I don't want to do that right before bed because I want to go to sleep. And then
So
at
that's
night,
interesting.
I'll do the immunity.
So I always tell my clients to sit with like a glass of tea or something at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon just to give their body like a little bit of a break. So I was thinking after that, could I even put the B12 in, or is it something that
absolutely.
would be like once I've started to like relax a little bit, and I can take a little B12 and then get through my afternoon? Not that I'm saying power. We're not talking about power through your afternoon. Probably like reset, right?
Yeah.
Then it wouldn't. It's not like it's gonna affect your sleep.
No.
It's
And
not like caffeine.
No. So with these, you do 8 sprays a day. So you could break it
Oh.
up actually.
Oh,
You do like
okay.
2 sprays in the morning, 2 sprays midday, or whatever, however you want to break it
And
up.
then you would have a record of it, so that obviously they're not just a balance between like if they're doing IV and they're doing the supplements,
Oh, yeah.
so that they're not, because it's up to 8 sprays, but it doesn't mean you have to have 8 sprays.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, you don't.
And
have
just
to do 8
because
sprays.
this is the dose, it doesn't mean you need all of it.
No.
So you're just not going to take anyone that calls and says, "Hey, I need some of your stuff."
Right. Yeah, we still go through the whole process of like, what are your health goals? What are you doing? What are you taking? How are you feeling?
Okay, so, and then you do group parties, single party, come to people's houses, and I'm sure that, because everyone's gonna be, no one's gonna be like, how much, right? So I'm sure it has a big scale if you wanted to have it something private, or if you wanted to do a group setting. So is there, like, where should we send people? Instagram or your website?
Either
or...
one works. Either one is totally fine. They're pretty much linked together because I have my booking link on through my Instagram, which has the breakdown of all my stuff. It just doesn't look pretty like my website does.
Oh, okay.
It's just a cut and dry. Like these are the services, where my website is a little more in depth. But to get a hold of me,
Do you schedule? I mean, they can't just go on there and book something.
They can, absolutely. You can go on and book the best time of day that is showing available, obviously.
Okay, and then you do a call before that to do their health questionnaire, or do you do it via online or something?
So when you book an appointment, it goes through a few pages, like the consent and then an intake form. And that intake form goes over your medical history.
Okay.
And allergies specifically. So it's like somebody with zinc, or somebody who has a sulfur allergy can't have zinc, stuff like that.
Okay.
So what I typically, my routine with it is they book the appointment, I look at their appointment,
Would someone know if they had a sulfur allergy or a zinc allergy?
Most people do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So say I don't know if I've ever heard of a zinc, or how would you?
Sulfur.
Oh, sulfur.
Yeah, sulfur.
Oh, if you have a sulfur allergy, you have zinc.
Correct.
Got it.
Yeah. But I'll go through their booking and look at their intake form. If somebody tags, I have CHF, so they have congestive heart failure, and they just booked a liter of fluids.
No, sorry.
Sorry. I love you dearly. I love you for your support. Thank you so much. I can give you an injection, but I am not giving you a whole bag of fluids. This is why
you need a nurse to do these things, because you need someone You can't be just willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I feel like there's too much willy-nilly out there. People just buying vitamins and, you know, I'm so glad to know that you're just doing the health questionnaire and keeping people
accountable.
straight. Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah, I like my license.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
I worked
would
really
imagine.
hard for it.
Yeah. Wait, are you still in the hospital too?
Just PRN. So every now and then, I'm a little bit of a glutton for punishment. I love the ER. I do.
Everybody that works, if you love the ER, you love the ER.
Yeah.
And if you don't love the ER, you don't ever want to step in there. Like
No.
I've had friends that work there and they just feed off of all of
Yeah.
if they don't have 50 million things going on, it's like, no.
The disorganized, organized chaos.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So yeah, I can see all of that. But, so this is the total opposite. Are you able to flip-flop back and forth to the switch on, turn the switch off?
Yeah.
All right.
It's pretty. And it's helped to be an ER nurse and be able to go into somebody's home and do a service like this. Like I know the signs and symptoms to look for, and I know, you know, I can't just sit on my phone and like not pay attention to them. Like I make conversation because I, you know, and I ask them frequently, how are you feeling? Because a lot of time they'll be like, oh, I'm a little chilly. You know, I'll grab them a blanket, whatever makes them feel a little bit more comfortable.
Will you start to feel the effects immediately?
Most people will say they start to feel a little more like upbeat, like feeling like they can go on about their day about like half the bag.
Let's see, I bet you that's a very big, like, treatment after treatments, right? Big chemo treatments and stuff like that. Is that a big a time when you would need hydration or?
I don't have too many chemo patients because typically they're on a regimen with their providers, like they're already on a plan of care with them, which is great. I've had quite a few people where they have to like have a colostomy and they have to drink that nasty stuff that basically flushes out your whole system. Some providers or offices are really good about making sure those patients have a bag of fluids after, and some don't. And honestly, I can't tell you why.
So all that stuff just stays in your system? Like drudging, like just waiting to come out?
So the stuff they have you drink flushes your system, like makes you like...
Oh, and then gives you the, okay, I thought you were talking about radioactive stuff. But you were talking about the dehydration stuff, like when you get a colonoscopy and all of that
where
kind
they
of
make
stuff.
you like basically
I had the
poop everything out.
worst experience at my colonoscopy.
Isn't it hard? It's not a pretty thing.
Because again, I have a really good diet, and they gave me a laxative to take before my my prep. And I couldn't even eat half my diet for 5 days, which was you know, fresh vegetables and fruit and all of that. And I was like, okay, I'll be fine. I was so sick, I was throwing up. My blood sugar had dropped. I was at Daddy Max, and I was like, I need some sugar water now. And he's like, did you want like some like soda? And I'm like, I started throwing up in my hand. I was like, I need and then I was drinking shots of sugar water.
Oh gosh.
So I have actually have a glucose monitor here. I took it when I got home. It was 64. An hour later, I ate a basket of tater tots, and then I was so sick. So this is just more reasons why you've got to know your body, because I should have never taken that much stuff for my body. It just, I mean, talk about toxicity. And then when I came off of the, what's it called when they put you under?
Anesthesia?
Yes, when I came out from that, I was like, oh my God. It was terrible. It was so horrible. I wish I knew you then.
Oh, yeah. You would definitely be somebody
It took me 3 days to get past that. I was just, throwing up, dehydrated. I mean, it was just, everything was fine. So I have 10 more years, thank God. And I'm not going through any of that. Oh, so anyway, that is the story on that.